All right, welcome to another edition of Blue Banner. Today it's game day. It's game day, everybody. Get fired up. And I hope you saw on X we've posted our preview show we did yesterday, and so you can look at that again today. And then we're kind of doing another second preview show just about everything that goes on with Creighton basketball and everything the fans see and so on and so forth. So who better to bring on than Associate Athletic Director Mike Odom? Mike, how you doing?
Morning. Good morning. Happy game day.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Well, thanks for joining us. I know you're a busy guy. I know because when I text you,
All good.
I give it 24 hours to answer because you're that busy. But you always have time for me, which I really appreciate. And
Absolutely.
so let me ask you this question. So the first two exhibition games, that had to like help with everything that goes on during the game, like especially if you want to do some new things. That had to really help, like to test drive some of this stuff, right?
It did. It did. I think, when you texted, it was like, what's new this year at CHI? What can fans expect? And the biggest thing is the video board, and so for the first two exhibition games, it was a chance for us to kind of see all the opportunities and give us kind of some vision for what we can do throughout the year. So getting things sized correctly, getting our sponsor stuff sized correctly, the timing of it, the flow of it, all of those things. It was definitely a good, you know, we want those exhibition games. We try to treat every exhibition game, whether it's men's soccer or volleyball or women's basketball, uh, but especially men's basketball. We want to treat those like, they are just like a normal game, um, because that may be the only time a fan comes the whole
Yeah.
year, and we want them to come to that game and say, "Daggone it, that was a lot of fun. I want to go back and see the Jays play next Friday against Maryland Eastern Shore or against Kansas State on December 13th or whatever it may be." So we try to really put on a good show for those exhibitions.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for bringing up the video. The scoreboard looks awesome. I mean, it's absolutely awesome. And the enhancement of the ribbon boards around, I mean, I just noticed them popping more, the colors more vibrant and so forth. I think that's a really big plus.
Absolutely. The folks at Mecca, did a great job with kind of the selection of that. We certainly were involved, and I think you'll see it does pop more. And I'm sure there's some kind of statistics with how many more pixels per square footage and all that kind of stuff, that shows how it's the latest and greatest, and we're excited to have that at CHI and a part of our game day experience. And I think you'll see more stats, more replays, more video. Just the size of everything is a whole lot better. And again, that leaves our fan experience team with some opportunities to do some fun stuff throughout the year. So
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the first thing about like, sizing the ads and all this. Like I do a 2-bit podcast here. Okay. And I get, hey, you ought to do this. You ought to do, people don't understand. Even for this, there's a lot that goes into it. Like a lot of things you got to think about and do, and yada yada yada. And about, gosh, I don't know. It's probably I lose track. I think something I did, 5 years ago was last year. I lose track of time, but it was probably quite a few years. It was almost probably 10 years ago. I did a thing called Day in the Life of Creighton Basketball. And I went down, I went to the arena a couple days early, talked to some, CHI people and the concessions and, talked to people creating a video board, all that stuff. And it was, you could probably find it still out there somewhere, I'm sure. But we did a whole story on it, and it was pretty interesting, like all the things that go into it that I don't even think about, and I remember talking to Rob about, well, I'd kind of like to just see what, and he goes, there's just a whole lot of yelling going on. Like that was an assist for 10. Don't forget.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm sure on the
yep.
back
That's
end,
how
and
game day works. Yeah.
yeah, on the back end, I talked to people on the back end from Creighton, and yeah, it's crazy all the things they've got going on.
It is. We we try to I mean, everybody works great together, and we're all looking out for each other so that what the fans see is 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 well run and flows well and all of those things. But yeah, sometimes everybody's on the headsets talking to each other, trying to get things squared away. And I'll never forget at my previous school, or one of my previous schools, Wake Forest. We were retiring Chris Paul's jersey. I couldn't find Chris Paul. And somebody else had taken him, and he ended up where he needed to be at the right time and all of that, but I sure couldn't find him, and it was my job to find him, and so I was freaking out, but it all turned out perfect.
It all worked out.
But you never know those stories behind the scenes.
Yeah. Let me start with this. So 1 or 2 years we had, like, the fire thing off the basket. We don't have that this year, right?
We do. We did the smoke one year, and then we started the fire last year, and we got the fire off the kind of the end caps um
Backboards. Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
hoops this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
like it.
that's been a nice enhancement. We've got a picture here in the office of from the Kansas game last year when the fans are rushing the court, the fire's going off, and that's just hoping that's a mainstay at our games for a while.
Okay. Long before you came to Creighton. All right. I'm gonna give you just huge props to whoever came up. So long before you came, there's this discussion's been going on for 20 some years, maybe longer, about cheerleaders versus dance team. Okay. And people are
Okay.
always like,
Yeah.
why don't we have cheerleaders? Why can't we have cheerleaders? Da, 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 on and on. There was, oh, well, yeah, they can't do something. This year, we basically have both, right? And
We do.
my
We started a
goodness,
cheerleading team. Yeah. Yeah.
my goodness, it looks great.
Started well, good, good. We started a cheerleading team back in like April, or March and April, and as the season was ending, we hired our spirit coordinator, Ava Limbo, and she's overseeing dance team, cheerleaders, and works closely with the band. And so, yeah, we've got a pretty full cheer squad, and again, that's to enhance game day, more opportunities for interaction with fans, and whether it's the concourse on the floor. And we kind of did an informal study, if you will, when we go around the Big East and go to all these games at other places. There's some places we go, St. John's or Seton Hall, and we go out, look out on the court, and there's 60 Spirit Squad members, and we're
Yeah,
not quite to that level, but
right.
there's so many of them. But it looks good, and Ava's done a really nice job getting them ready, and that program will just continue to develop over time, and we'll continue to see how the right flow and what the right stuff is with how they interact with the fans, and get everybody excited for Blue Jay basketball.
Well, thank God for the first time in 20 years, even though basically the same people sit in my same section, I won't get into an argument with somebody over the fact that they're like, no, no, the dance team and the cheerleaders are different. I'm like, no, no, they're not. They're the same people. You know, usually
That's
somebody
right.
says, no, he's right, but this year we won't have to worry about that. Um, so what other new things do you have this year?
I would say the main one's the video board. Obviously, we refresh all of the content that goes on the video board. We've got some great promotions lined up throughout the year, whether it be, the white out, the blue out. We're doing the stripe out against Kansas, the powder blue stripe out for
Oh, so you're gonna tell us
Kansas
what to wear
State.
for every game. This is helpful.
Right, we'll tell you what to wear for every game, and all of those things. But I would say the main thing that gives us an opportunity to kind of work on our playbook is the video board, and the scores table boards, and all of those things have been a great new addition. But we try to be creative with giveaways. We try to be creative with all of the elements throughout the game. Even the contests that we do with our sponsors, we've taken a hard look at those, and trying to get it to where they're fun and interactive, and are timed at the appropriate moment to where we're
Yeah.
not, calling a timeout and doing a shooting contest when there's 2 minutes to go, and, we're up 1, and, you're on the edge of your seat, and then we
Or
do
the
something
coach
like that,
changes it
we're
to this.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So So we're cognizant of all that and kinda game flow and run of show and what's the right thing at the right moment. So we'll continue to work on it throughout the year. We may not show everything in the playbook, kinda like Coach Mack may not show everything in the playbook, in the exhibition games in the first, game or 2, but we may do the same thing. So, yeah, stay tuned for you gotta come to every game to kinda see how we
Absolutely.
progress throughout the year.
Absolutely, and I
Yeah.
gotta I always like to guess on the First National Bank thing, the vault thing, 'cause I
Oh,
tend to
yeah.
guess with, like, how important the game is. No, big dollar amount right off the 250 in the
Yeah,
exhibition game, so
that's
you
right.
had to be there
Colorado
to
State, 250.
yeah, yeah, nice, nice. Uh,
Yeah, we've got some great sponsor activations. Godfather's always does something good. We've got 7 Brew Coffee that's gonna do an activation this year.
RTI
Certainly
Threads,
the Brickin' for
our sponsor
McChicken,
does them.
RTI Threads, yeah, you're one of your sponsors as well. Katie and the crew's been good to us.
Katie's awesome.
Obviously Lawlers and Ideal Images and all those guys. We've got
Yeah,
a lot of good sponsors that love Blue Jay basketball that understand we're trying to enhance the atmosphere and kind of add a fun element, versus kind of a buzzkill, if you will.
yeah. Okay, so I was reading. I got I don't know stumbled across. I like to look at it before the start of every season, so I did find it somewhere. The new rules this year, and pretty much they're all the same. They're just like variations with the reviews and all that. So you know, the last minute's going to go on for a couple days. We all know that,
That's right.
so we got used to that. But the one kind of like it didn't explain it, but I understand now. So the Colorado State game. Every time the whistle blew, somebody was playing music. And
Yes, so
I
that
saw in
is
the
a
rules,
new
they said that's
piece.
allowed. See, it was not allowed before, right?
That's right.
Oh, is that gonna continue? Or is that a test
So
run?
it was a little bit of a test run, and we've been able to do it, and we have been doing it women's basketball the last few years. I think the thought process with Colorado State's let's give it a try, and then I think it's kind of a crawl, walk, run with it a little bit. So I think you'll see some changes tonight where, if there's a 2-second gap, you're not gonna hear music, but if there's a 10-second gap, you may hear music, So I think it kinda, again, gonna take some time to learn the feel of it, but I think I think we're in the don't force it if it's not necessary type deal,
Why do we do it?
if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
No. Why do
Why? I
we do
think,
it?
why not?
Well,
Why do we do it?
why?
I think it's to enhance I think it's to enhance the fan experience. It's, you're here to be entertained. The music has to be the right type of music. It can't be something where, the lead into Freebird takes 2.5 minutes. It can't be that, right? It's gotta be something that's catchy and fun, and I think we learned a lot from the Colorado State game. But again, it'll be crawl, walk, run, not gonna overdo it, and kinda see how it goes.
Are we turning it too much into an NBA game, though?
The NBA games, that's during play, and I don't think we
Yeah, but
want
they
to
do it
go that way.
counts.
We're not the NBA, um, but again, it'll be in the right doses. We're not gonna.
I'll just
We may have overdone it in the
I'm
first half of Colorado State.
1,000% against it.
Okay.
1,000. I don't think it adds anything. I don't people aren't gonna get up and start clapping, and I
Uh,
like to hear what the guy who the foul was on. That's just. So,
all right.
that's my
Well,
feedback.
thank you for
That's
the
my
feedback.
feedback. Hey, so subtle move that I would notice, most people wouldn't. The radio guys are on the coach's side this year, right? They weren't last year.
Yes, they actually
Yeah.
were last year as well. Yeah.
John Bishop was on the bench side last year?
He was. Yeah, he was on the bench side. Now he's a little bit over closer to the bench a little bit.
But it seems
But
like
yes, he
the
was over.
TV table has shrunk though somewhat, no? No, it's the same as last year?
I it I think we went from 4 tables to 2 last year, and there's still 2 tables this year. You've got
Okay.
the 5 or the
See,
the area for
it's
the broadcast, and we've got some
bad on
ticketed
me, bad on me.
areas.
See, the reason
It's
I
all
notice
good.
that is I always look who's doing the game with John in case I didn't see
Yeah.
it previously, and 99% of the time, I know the person doing the same. I'll be like, "Oh, Taylor's doing the game. Oh, Ross is doing the game," you know, whoever.
Yep.
And now I've, like, got look at the back of their head and try and figure out who it is, so that's cool. No, I understand the whole logistics, all that. By the way, so I was at practice, last week, and when you're up in the stands a little bit, you don't notice it, but those, the 4 rows of chairs that are on either side of the court, I was in, the 4th row sitting with Len Gordy, and those are, like, raised up a little bit. It's kinda like you can't see it where when you just look at the arena, you don't notice it, but they are, so, the people can see over them. Wow, comfy chairs.
Yes.
All I got to
Good
say.
seat, comfy chairs, good views. You know, we spent a lot of time, not this past summer, but last summer, sitting in different style chairs. We had a bunch shipped here to the office, and we would set them up and see if we could look over each other, and we'd get a big guy to come and sit down. Can you see over and things like that? Because again, we want the experience to be a great one for the fans and to enjoy, coming to CHI and spending their time and money and energy on Blue Jay basketball. We want it to be a great experience for everybody that comes.
And they're not. People go, "Oh, they're on risers." I go, "No, they're not on risers. They're just the way the chair is. It's just you can adjust it to make it a little bit higher. It's awesome."
That's
Yeah,
right.
I was like, I
Yeah.
told Gordy, I said, "I want about 3 or 4 of these for my house, man. This is great." Um, so if you ever get rid of them, let me know. Um,
All right.
what else? Let's see. We got that. The cheer squad all taken care of. That looks great. What about
Yeah. Thank you.
um? Let's look at one second here. Okay, let's the intro music for the players going out.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, every year, we look and assess and work together with our creative team to make a video that the players and staff and fans will all enjoy and get you pumped up for the game. And we're constantly looking at it and um, assessing throughout the year. So we'll continue to do that this year like we did the last my previous 2 years as well.
First, thanks for keeping the bud thing. That's like that was almost going to go away at one point, and
Tradition.
that's like a tradition. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see other fans like that are here from other schools. They see that and they're like, "Oh, wow, this is something cool." Yeah.
Yep, and we haven't really updated many of the highlights either, which I also kinda on
Yeah.
one way I really like too.
Nostalgic, you
Little
know?
nos Yeah, a little nostalgia. Yeah, exactly.
So we need to have a song for the introductions as they're written ready to really pump up the crowd, right? That's like a real challenge, right? You got to get the right
It is,
song.
and, we've got the intro video, and then we've got a video right after the starting lineups are over, and then the lights show, which was a new thing 2 years ago, that leads into tip-off, so hopefully it builds, all the way to tip-off.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to just get the crowd fired up for the introductions. Although I think this year people were like, "Wait a minute. What number is that guy? Who is that
Right, yeah. Yeah, got a lot of new guys to learn.
guy?" Well, hey, we're excited. How's everything else going? By the way, I keep telling people this. The softball field looks awesome, man. What an awesome job.
Thank you. Got to credit our staff on campus, but also Brandon McCarville and Joe Willman and a handful of guys here in the department who have been uh, very involved with all that, and obviously Coach Wood and her staff. But yeah, they're fired up. Baseball practice facilities coming along really well, and got some exciting announcements coming up here and groundbreakings the next couple weeks.
I tell people when they need to walk by there, and I think it'll like say to themselves, like I did, "Wow, I got to get to a game as soon as I can." Because it's really a great spot, great atmosphere, and now if we can get the city to get all their work done, it'll make things a lot smoother, right?
We're getting there. It's good to see the progress. This is a fun time of year. You say, "What else is going on? What's not going on?" Right? So we've got a big weekend. Obviously, tonight's game, opening night, opening flight for the Jays, against South Dakota, but then Friday, we've got men's soccer with a gigantic match against Akron, with some Big East, with Big East tournament and Big East standings at play. It's senior night. We're giving away some white T-shirts for a whiteout. That's at 6 o'clock, and then in here at DJ Sokol Arena, we've got volleyball, Friday, and then senior night on Sunday. So we've got a busy weekend, and we've got tournaments, and our women's soccer team left for the Big East tournament yesterday, and they play tomorrow night. So um, we got a lot going on, and it's a fun time of year when we're competing for championships, and that's the goal is to
Yeah.
keep doing that in all of our sports, and uh, we're heading down the home stretch with those fall sports.
Okay, I'll get you out of here in this one, but I can't let you go without talking about the new initiative down the whole entire sports complex and the transformation it's gonna be. It just looks awesome, man.
It will be. I mean, people in college athletics throw out the word transformational, sometimes a little too much to my liking. But once you see those plans, it will be transformational, and I don't throw that word out lightly. But what it'll do in the builders district, what it's going to do for our student athletes and our coaches and our staff, just from a experience perspective, it's going to be, best of the best. It's gonna help Omaha. It's gonna help Creighton University as a whole. It's gonna help athletics. It's just, I couldn't be more excited about that and all of the things that are coming down the line with all of those. And baseball and softball and the Sports Performance Center, all of those things are
Yeah.
kind of in the works right now, and we're going to see the start of all of that when softball plays this spring, and baseball practice facilities done this summer in time for the CWS, and going to start to see some of that stuff come to life, which will be
Well,
which will be
yeah.
great.
Think back to the offices at Kitty Gone, and now we're moving to this. It
Yeah.
is transformational, and I love the fact that you're doing the jaywalk thing, which kinda connects the east part of the campus with the community growing that way. It's awesome.
There's so many people. Just as somebody who moved here a couple of years ago, there's so many people that come here for the College World Series that just stumble upon campus and um, stroll through it, and that whole area is gonna just people are gonna see it from down at the stadium and want to know what's
Yeah.
going on up there, and you're gonna have that many more visitors, which will lead to that many more people investigating what Creighton University is all about, and it's only gonna enhance everything that everyone does here.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Excited for tonight,
Absolutely.
excited to get another view of that scoreboard, man. It's awesome. And, keep up the great work. You do such a terrific job. Thanks so much, and, as always, I'll
Thank
I'll
you.
keep giving you my feedback.
Yep, I appreciate that.
Alright.
That's what
Alright,
I'm here
Mike. Have a
for.
great day.
Send it to me. You too. See ya.
Alright.